City of Stevens Point Finance Committee meeting, recorded March 11, 2024.
Okay, we have 6:15 and we will call the Finance Committee to order. Corey, would you take roll, please?
Yes, Broderick.
Here.
Christensen.
Here.
Morrow. Let's see, Morrow. Shore.
Here.
And Shuda.
Here.
Should be noted that Alder Morrow did say he was not going to be at committees. I apologize. I forgot to relay that to you, Corey.
Okay.
I thought
So
I
he's excused.
messaged you, but I thought I did. Maybe I didn't.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we do have a quorum. Our first item on the agenda this evening will be the approval of an amendment to the WEDC Community Development Investment Grant. Chris Klesmith, I think, will be giving us some background first.
Good evening. Yep, so the WEDC Community Development Initiative program that we had been awarded several years ago had reached a few roadblocks with the developer and their firm that they had contracted out to do some of the work for the redevelopment on Madison Street. And at this point, the Altenburg Dairy Cooperative has shifted the project slightly and has worked with the community development staff in order to bring a plan to complete the project by the end of September of this year. And so we've been working with the WEDC to adjust our agreement in order to bring that project to fruition.
Okay.
So we are just seeking a quick approval to have that amended so the dates for finalization of the project are in line with our project timeline.
All right. Thank you for that background. Is there a motion to approve the amendment to the grant as presented? Okay. Alder Broderick, is there a second? And a second by Alder Shore. Questions, comments from the committee? Seems fairly straightforward. I think that's some good background information included in the packet as well. All right. Any questions or comments from the public? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the actual vote. All in favor of approving that amendment would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed would be no. That passes. That takes us on to item number 3, approval of a request to accept 0.113 acres of land located at 3300 Church Street. Background information, anyone going to share besides what's in our packet? Do we have anyone to present?
It's the right-of-way that we talked about at Plan Commission.
Right. It's just a little bit of county land that's a right-of-way that it just kind of clears up things, and it'll help simplify things as far as maintenance and those types of things for both parties, so I see it as a no-brainer. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Alder Shore, is there a second?
I'll second.
Alder Broderick seconds. Comments, questions from the committee? Anything from the public? Hearing none, all of those in favor would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed would be no. That passes unanimously. Takes us on to item number 4, approval to sell the property at 4213 Simona Street. Joel, are you going to speak to that?
I certainly can.
That would be great,
Yeah,
I think.
if you want to.
Give an update to the commission today, too. That property consists of 2 parcels. One has a home on it, one's vacant. The vacant one is the one we are going to construct well 12 on, and we will, as of April 1st, sometime after April 1st, list it on the market and sell the home, the adjacent home, with some criteria that says we will have an active construction project, next door, so everybody knows that. But that's the plan. They have till April 1st to get their belongings removed from the home. We'll put it on the market after that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Corey, anything to add to that?
No, nothing to add. So it's mainly a utility project, so the funds would be coming back to the utilities, not to the city general fund, because it was utility money that purchased the property. So.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Is there a motion to approve? Alder Shuda. And a second?
I'll second.
Alder Broderick. Comments, questions from the committee? Any from the public? Hearing none, we'll take our vote. All in favor would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed would be no. That passes as well. That takes us to the consideration of a claim. Sharon Inman sewage backup.
Yes, so this was a claim related to a sewage backup. That's something that typically we don't have liability for. So we did submit it to our insurance company like we always do, and the insurance company recommended that we deny the claim. So that would be the staff recommendation as well.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move denial of claim.
Okay, Alder Shore with a motion to deny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Alder Broderick. Questions, comments from, is there anyone that would like to present from, well, we'll go committee first. Questions or comments from the committee? Anyone from the audience, from the public that would like to present? Hearing none, we'll take our vote. All in favor of denying the claim would signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed would be no. That claim is denied. Item number 6, consideration of another claim. Corey, give us background, please.
Yes, so this claim is related to a missing pothole cover, a missing manhole cover, I'm sorry. So it's a missing manhole cover. The claimant drove over the open manhole and ruined his tire and rim. We did submit it to our insurance company, and the insurance company recommendation is to deny this one as well, based on us meeting the standard of reasonable care that as soon as we were informed that there was a missing manhole, we corrected the problem right away.
Okay. Questions or comments from this committee?
Do we have the claimant available?
Should we do that before a motion or after?
I am of the mindset that you should hear all sides and then make a motion, but you
That
are
would be-
chair, you get to
that
do
would
what you
be
want.
just fine. Please come forward, share your perspective.
If I can get there. New job, old body.
Name and address, sir, please.
Donald Siseski, Ciseski, 514 Chestnut Street, Stevens Point.
Thank you.
On the day in question, I hit, last second, I saw that there was no manhole on the hole or cover, and I did hit it with my rear tire, taking out my rear tire, or the rim. I had changed, I pulled into the car wash, right where, it was on Nebel Street and Church. Pulled into the car wash, changed my tire, went back around to did a picture of it, and the utilities guy was already there fixing it. Well, on the denial, it says, in this case, the city had no actual or constructive notice that the manhole was in any dangerous or defective condition. Well, the fact that 10 minutes after I changed my tire, there was a guy fixing it, I didn't call anybody. So I would think reasonably that they were aware that there was an issue. So the denial statement doesn't make sense. My original claim was for $527 plus tax. That's the cost of a new rim and a new tire. I'm a disabled vet. I'm not going to go into what parts, but I go to Wausau quite frequently to the VA. I'm not going there on a donut. So I had to cancel a couple appointments already because of that. So I called Badger Motor after I found the denial thing. Called Badger Motor. They were able to get me a rim for my car, same make, model, everything. 125 plus tax, came up to like 140, 131.88, because I needed my car. So I'm not trying to soak the city for something that didn't happen, but the fact that there was a guy there fixing it before I even could get back and take a picture tells me that the denial statement doesn't wash. Because obviously he was made aware that there's an issue, or he wouldn't have been there fixing it.
Or they had just very recently become aware and haven't had a chance to get there yet. That's the other possibility if the two occurred almost simultaneously.
I doubt it. Well, and I should have gotten a copy of the utilities guy, Roger, I don't know what his last name is, but he took pictures and he wrote a statement. I didn't see his statement. I should have asked for a copy of it, but if you look at the time-wise, like I said, if he's there fixing it, right after I changed my tire to drive over to take a picture, he obviously was made aware that there was an issue before I hit it.
Okay.
So your claim isn't for 527, it's for?
No, it's for
one-
actual, I mean, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not trying to soak anybody or file a false claim. I'm asking for the actual cost of fixing my car.
Which was one,
I would have liked a brand new rim. I needed my car. So I got a rim that was good, and the tire was still good, so
so what's your actual claim?
131. 131.88, and I got a copy of the receipt from Badger Motors.
I can speak to the timeline a little bit.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Hi.
Roger's one of the foremen on one of our crews, and it kind of went like this. Actually, one of our employees was driving a piece of equipment that had the radio on scan, heard another department radio chatter say, "Hey, I just saw a manhole cover missing there. Give the water department a call." Well, we heard it, so they were trying to coordinate through the offices. They grabbed a cover quick and went there actually before we got the call through offices and replaced it. That's why we were there so quick. So the chain of events are like that. Yeah, we heard it over the radio because they knew we'd have the covers. So we went there before the call even came in. That's why we were there so quick. So it was, I don't know how long it was missing, to be honest with you, but I'm guessing very little time, because it was replaced before we got the call. But yeah.
Well, I can also make one comment. 2 days ago, because I live on that side of town, I was driving north on Church Street, heard a noise, and a car had driven over it and popped that centerpiece out again. So there's an issue with that cover, I think. It shouldn't be that loose that a car driving over should kick it out, and then the next car hits it.
All right, thank you.
Are we looking for a motion?
Yes, a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the claim as presented for 131 something.
131.88.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second from Alder Broderick. Motion by Shuda, second by Broderick. Comments, questions?
Thank you. Point taken that the worker showing up to fix it raises that question about the timeline.
Yeah.
For sure. But it doesn't seem to answer the question of whether it had been days, in which case that would have been a failure, or instead it had been minutes to hours, and that falls into what our insurance carrier is telling us is or isn't our responsibility. If it was clearly left a day, 2 or more, absolutely, it seems that would have been clear that it was our fault. So I generally tend to take the advice of our insurer about what our liability is. So just to kind of give one perspective.
And it does seem from Director Lemke that as soon as they became aware, it was replaced within minutes.
Can I,
Oh,
Director Lepke, the manhole cover that was missing, where did it go?
I actually don't know. Oftentimes, it can, in that case, time of day and everything, I don't think it was like a prank or anything, some people, it's happened. I think it was probably a large vehicle, sometimes just special movement over them, and they can almost like peel them up.
So, but it
and
was-
toss it into the boulevard or something like
Oh,
that.
so it might have been in the
It was probably
boulevard for-
nearby.
Yeah, the cover wasn't in the road,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming it was up on the curb.
Probably, yeah, just unfortunate.
And on the issue of how much it's popping off and, whether it's fit correctly or
Yeah, I
set
think
correctly.
there just may be an issue with it, because like I said, I saw it pop off. I heard it popping off with somebody else driving over it like 2 days ago.
Yeah, sometimes if we get reports of the noisy ones, we'll go tar them. We'll put a kettle over them and tar the joint between the casting and the frame, or the frame and the centerpiece. We can certainly do that, but, yeah, it's just an
So I'd hate
unfortunate
to have it
series of
happen to
events.
somebody else, because it,
Yeah.
Okay. Attorney Beveridge, did you have something you wanted to add? I saw you wanted to be okay.
Do you want to sit down?
okay,
So
get up again.
I would caution you about paying out claims that our insurance companies advised against paying. They don't advise against us paying claims because they're telling us to be curmudgeons. They advise against paying claims because, based on the facts that have been represented to them, there's no theory of liability that any court would support. So if you're agreeing to pay a claim when there's no underlying theory of liability that holds any water, what are you really doing? Well, essentially what you're doing is you're reallocating certain risks onto the taxpayers. Suppose that, and obviously this isn't the case here, but suppose that somebody had a very fancy vehicle with a very expensive wheel set on it. They've got a $4,500 forged racing wheel on their, modded car. Are you going to pay that one out? Probably not. I wouldn't think so. But also, this is why you carry insurance on your vehicle. A lot of damage to vehicles occurs from road hazards. Potholes, we know those happen every year. This year, a little lighter on account of the weather. We get out and try to fix them as best we can, but we don't have strict liability for those. Just for a little illustration there, the idea of strict liability is that if your actions result in somebody else having a loss, it doesn't matter how careful you were. All that matters is that the loss occurred. That's what when you have something that's referred to as inherently dangerous activity. For instance, blasting operations. We have to do those sometimes, or our contractors do, for road construction. Over near First Avenue, there's some pretty high bedrock. We had to get in there and do some blasting. You do pre-inspections of homes to ensure that, yes, this crack in the plaster was there prior to the blasting, that sort of thing. Because no matter how careful you are with that type of activity, if there's a harm caused to someone, you are liable. There's strict liability. We do not have strict liability for the conditions of streets. We do our best to respond to things in a quick and reasonable manner. But so long as we're doing that, the risk then is on individual drivers, individual owners of equipment to have adequate insurance to pay for these things. And if you start setting a precedent of the city taking on that risk, it's a can of worms that could get very, very expensive, and a thing that, the rules that we have for the way we collect revenue and the way that we evaluate the risk that the city takes on financially are presuming that we are going to only pay out on claims when we actually have a legal obligation to do so. So I would, again, very strongly caution you against that, recommend you take the advice of our insurance carrier.
Why does this body even vote on it then? Is it just?
Because legally, the city is obligated to have an action of the city council in order to pay out a claim. And certainly there are claims that come forward where the recommendation is to pay it out. I mean, it might not be the majority of them, but there certainly are. And in those types of situations, we still, we need an action to do so. But when a claim like this gets presented, this is the legal process that we have to undertake, is to put it before the committee and then to ultimately to the council. So.
I just point out one thing about, he's mentioned the insurance. My deductible's $250 for a $531 claim. It's not worth my rates going up for a $500 bill, and I'm only going to make like $270. And I'm not making anything, it's on my card. So I was advised by my insurance company to not file a claim, just for that reason.
Thank you. Alder Broderick, you had a question.
That was my question, is if you had pursued a personal insurance on your
Yeah.
vehicle.
Okay. All right, I think I'll open up any other questions from
So the motion is
others?
the motion is to approve.
The motion is to
So if we
approve the
want
claim,
to deny,
yes.
then we vote no.
Any other comments from the public? Okay, then I think we're ready to take a vote. The motion is to approve the claim. Approving the claim, if you're in favor of that, would be signified by saying aye, and if you're opposed to paying the claim and denying, then that would be no. All in favor of approving the claim as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed would be no.
No.
No. Okay. So the claim is denied.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yep.
Of course.
Thank you. That, we now move to approval of claims paid. Corey, any unusual ones?
So a couple of larger ones.
These are not insurance claims. These are
No,
just,
no.
these are our
Yeah.
bills.
This is the usual, the bills that we pay on an annual base, or on a monthly basis. But we do have some large checks for our tax settlement payments. So those, you'll see, are quite large. The other really large one is we had the upfront incentive for the convent property. So that finally got completed. So that was $2.25 million for their upfront incentive. So that was another large check that you'll see there. So nice to see that that project has been completed and has moved forward, so.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve claims?
I'll move to approve the claims paid.
Approved by, the motion by Shore and a second by Shuda. Any questions, comments from anybody on the committee? Anyone in the public? Hearing none, all in favor of approving claims paid, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed would be no. That's it, and we stand adjourned. Our agenda is exhausted at 6:36.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.